Welcome to the Vision Gap Show. Align your big idea and vision with a plan of action to resonate and stand out in your market. With your hosts, Andy Halko and Tony Zayas.
All right, everybody, welcome. I'm excited about our conversation today. We're going to take a look at something that can feel kind of overwhelming when you look at all the pieces. And we have a new feature in Frictionless that I think will do a great job of helping to make the understanding and working through the process of the customer journey a lot more manageable. So, Andy, this is a brand new feature. It's still in beta, but we wanted to jump in and kind of show everybody what we have here.
Yeah, customer journeys and buyer journeys. Excuse me. It's something that, is important to what we do. We really want to understand the different stages that our customers may go through and really how to move them to each stage. That's what strategy around marketing, sales, customer experiences is really moving people to a new stage, right? Is that they may become aware of our brand, but we want to get them to be interested. And then we want them to have consideration. Then we want them to go through the evaluation and make a decision. And each of those are very pointed things. And I think a lot of businesses, marketers, owners, sales folks, they don't sit down and really, truly evaluate that and understand what is it going to take to move someone through. They do it based off of assumptions, or they just wing it a lot of times. The other thing that we'll see is that they'll focus on one stage and say, well, we've really got to get our, proposals right. And that's the decision stage, but they're ignoring some of the others. And so I think it's really imperative for any business to sit down, look at this journey, and answer various key questions. What do you think?
Say, I think a big reason that doesn't happen is because of all of the moving pieces and parts in each stage. So it's like a monumental task, and there's a lot of questions. Like people that sit down and look at this in a lot of cases there's a lot of unknown in here. So it's hard to, when you have like kind of a blank canvas for one of these steps, there's a amount of overwhelm there. And what's nice about Frictionless is it gives you that canvas. It gives you the guidelines for it, and then the AI prompts help populate some of that. So it allows for that organization to happen, which is one of, I think, the starting points that makes it so challenging.
Agreed. And so, within our platform, just to kind of show how it works and helps folks is, where you really start is which personas, and then kind of estimating the number of touches to move them to the next stage. At the awareness stage, it's going to be a lot higher. As you move to evaluation and decision, you're going to have less interactions with those folks, emails, proposals, meetings, still a number, but definitely less. In that awareness stage, it tends to be really high. And then each stage does focus on different personas. There are ones at the awareness stage that might become aware because they've got a problem. But as they get closer to evaluation and decision, it might start going down to a much more narrow group of folks. In our example, we actually have this agency journey, and you can create multiple journeys. This agency journey is focused on selling Frictionless to agencies as a tool for them to use with their customers. And so we could create another one that's for small business owners, because that journey is going to be a little bit different than it is for the agencies, all the different pieces. And then what we've really done is help curate, how do you answer the right question? So we start with goals and needs. Really, what is the motivation for this target audience? So what are their goals? Identify gaps in strategic planning, looking for ways to improve outcomes. What are their needs? Clear definitions of AI and its role in strategic planning. These are things that they really need to understand at this stage. Then we typically talk about emotions and roadblocks. So, what are they feeling? Like, is there skepticism about how AI might be able to integrate into their strategic planning process? Is there a little bit of fear for how it's going to influence, generally their industry? And then roadblocks, lack of awareness, complexity, an overload of tools. These are things that we really want to understand at this stage, because they're going to drive so much of how we want to talk to folks to try and get them to the next one. And then to that point, we look at opportunities and convince, what can we do to overcome those emotions and barriers? And then what are key points that will resonate most with those folks in this stage? So that's directly talking against these emotions and roadblocks. And then we start getting into a little bit more of the tactical. What are the touch points? What are we specifically going to do? LinkedIn ads, what are the metrics that we want to look at, like website traffic? And then what are the teams in our organization that are involved? At decision, you may start getting project management or customer service involved. At loyalty, it's much more customer service, but at awareness, it's much more marketing. So it's really good to define like who is going to be involved in these different things. And so, you've got all these other elements, but the great thing about Frictionless is that with our AI, it actually can take those personas that you've put together, information about your business, and help create suggestions for all of these different parts of the journey. And again, that's really about helping speed up the process, help you develop ideas that you may not have thought of on your own, and then also reducing bias in that process. So you can see some suggestions there.
So just to clarify, Andy, in this journey feature, we're choosing personas, and do the personas that we've defined prior to this, do their needs, do their buying factors and motivations, does that all inform this process here?
It does. And so that's why, you start out understanding who are those people and what are their specific needs. And then as you come here, that really melds together, is that you may have multiple personas at this stage. And so it really is the idea of like, start to understand your audience first. And then with a journey, you're really kind of grouping them and developing, a very specific journey to those needs of those folks. So it is the right step to always start with the target audience and understanding them inside and out, so that you can come here and get a much better idea. And then I really like, notes. I mean, for us, as we go through this process ourselves or with clients or whatever it might be, you're brainstorming, right? And this is a great opportunity to just kind of say, oh, we're talking about this. Here's an additional note. You may include it as part of these pieces, or you're kind of, putting together ideas for you and your team to have. And then the big feature that I like is just asking questions about the stage. And so, we've got some suggested questions here for folks, but you can really ask anything, and it will grab information about your personas, the information here within this stage, our notes that we've taken, and basically give us an answer to our question that we've just asked. And again, we can ask anything. We've got some suggestions here for folks, but it's really that way to deep dive a little bit more into the journey and learn more. And so I wrote, what assets would be best to create: educational videos, case studies, success stories, interactive workshops and webinars, thought leadership, podcast series, targeted ad campaigns. And you can see that it gives a little bit of detailed information. I can even edit this if I want to add to it and change, and then save that for the future so that, I can come back and view it at any time. So I definitely think, Journeys is one of those features, even though there's a lot going on here, to sit your team down and discuss these pieces even the exercise of going through this and understanding it will improve their marketing and sales. But then creating a central source that your entire team can come back to is really what's going to take it to a whole new level.
Yeah, and then this becomes that building block as teams go in to build out campaigns, whether awareness campaign or something further along the entire spectrum. And everyone is building from a very precise understanding of where your prospect is at, what their needs, what their goals, all of that. So really big shortcut to a pretty complex process here. So it's great. Any frictionless users, we encourage you guys to get in there. This isn't beta, so we would love to hear your feedback. And if you haven't tried Frictionless out, frictionlesshq.com, go get yourself a free trial. Reach out if you guys want us to walk you through a demo or something. But hopefully you guys are finding this valuable, simplifying all the complexity that's out here and all this strategy and planning. So we will see you guys next time with another episode and see what is new on the horizon with Frictionless and everything out there in strategy land. So thanks for tuning in, guys.
This episode of the Vision Gap Show has been brought to you by Frictionless. Build high-impact strategy at scale. Create your vision, brand position, and go-to-market strategy, all in a collaborative AI-enabled workspace. Visit frictionlesshq.com to create your free account today.